stage, but now to the play-in knock-ins, the pressure begins to set in. Who will be able to shake it off more? We are into picks and bans for game number 4.
GRX sitting at match point here. And so far, Kaisa certainly has been very powerful in this series. The guys on the desk were talking about it. Sharks as well, of course. And, you know, 3 wins in 3 games for Kaisa.
Yep.
But it's not an unbeatable champion. There are ways to play around it. We have seen GRX heavily targeting the Varus, though, from Zeitnot, and we'll see if that actually slips through picks and bans this time around, because that certainly, I think, is a strong answer to the Kaisa if they do elect to leave it up.
Aatrox is already off the list from the hands of Bachesha here, super massive, and 9 seconds left for this phase 1 ban. It is going to be that Kaisa finally banned out within this series.
I think we see a first pick Varus then. I wouldn't be surprised to see that going through. It's going to be Rakan, though. Very interesting. So
no Flower wants that Rakan.
I mean, his Rakan is incredible, so I can't really blame him. But Varus has been very, very good for Zeitnot.
I agree with you.
You know, it did get banned out the first couple of games. I think it has a strong laning phase, which could give him a little bit more power down on the bottom side. Yep. They may be happy to play either the Varus or the Xayah. So if Xayah gets taken away here, I think you still can go for Rakan Varus bottom lane if they're looking towards that. I still want to see them stay the course, though, as far as having, you know, tanks on the top side. That has looked much better for Fabulous. Yes. He has not been really a point of power, but he is also not the reason they are losing the games, and that is certainly what he was against G2, as Wonder was dominating him in carry versus carries. So the drafts have certainly improved. We'll see if they do go the way of having GBM playing a more supportive style on the Galio or Zillion, as they were talking about earlier. Galio has been getting a lot of bans in the second phase, but there is the potential to try to grab it up early if they feel that is very important, and it does pair well alongside that Rakan. But we also saw Orianna in game 1 used very well alongside the Rakan here too.
Cheshire Supermassive selecting blue for this one, and it might be the Lucian lock-in with 13 seconds left. It is for Zeitnot. They say match it up. This might be the jungler for the side of GRX unless they decide to swap these phase 1 picks against each other. But I was definitely looking for possibly that Galio as well. It's been very big, but GBM's been on the kind of assassin kill train so far this series.
Yeah, he definitely has, but he's rode the line a little bit, with the Glacial Augment Ahri trying to play a little bit more of kind of a utility-based style.
That is true.
They are going to grab up the Ornn, it looks like, here for PK. We are expecting the Lucian to go bot lane for Zeitnot once again, but GBM certainly could flex that over to mid if he feels that the opportunity is right. Lucian still does have potential to go there in the mid lane, but this very likely means Varus could get banned out, or sorry, will not get banned out rather, as they are going to be assuming it's going to the bottom lane. Galio taken away from GBM, as it has been really kind of every second phase in the pick ban, and we'll see if they want to target more of those utility-based champions if they kind of think those could be an issue. Something like Zillion would make sense. Something like the Orianna certainly would make sense as a fairly safe blind pick that pairs well with what they have, speeding up the Olaf, pairing up with Rakan for that
other shield in there. Yep, I love it. As well as the jungler going to the wayside for GRX here. They did that last time, and they feel like they can kind of just go for a Zac or if something alike. Empty feels good with the champion pools he's being pushed to so far, which is helping GRX.
Yeah, and neither jungler has really ever taken over the early game so far.
Right.
I think that Stomage did a good job last time getting a farm advantage, but it never really kind of led to anything more than that, so it didn't really end up mattering. And in the case that it's going to be a fairly passive early game jungle style, well, who cares? I mean, you can kind of just interchange Zac, Gragas, Trundle, Olaf, etc. There's a lot of tanks that can kind of fit into that style of play.
The Gragas all the way down to second phase this time around, but the Nocturne could be the selection in. Follow up on a lot of that Ornn Horn with a black shield as well for Nocturne. Feels pretty good.
Definitely does. Very different style coming out here from Stitch compared to the previous games, where he has been much more about that kind of supportive style jungler rather for Empty. Had been playing mostly tank throughout. He did have the one Nocturne play in play-in, so certainly can flip that switch and go aggressive. It is going to be that Orianna. As I mentioned, it was played in game 1 with Rakan. Works well for the speed up there onto Olaf. For that guy charging in with the Predator boots popped. We'll see what the top lane is going to be. Sion is available, so they could go for something along those lines. Cho'Gath is also up. The Scion, I think, makes a lot of sense,
Yeah,
though.
for Fabulous, he loves the Scion. Controls that lane, but also could be a big menace in the team fights. The team's discussing it before they lock it in, and now you see the full lineup for Cheshire Supermassive.
Ooh.
What will the final lock-in be on the side of GRX? As we see some quick hovers, but no selection.
They're teasing us. Rise would make quite a bit of sense. A lot of people do like this into Orianna. It does give you some side lane pressure. There's not really any good split pusher on the side of Supermassive, no one that really wants to answer those waves solo. And if you lock in the Rise, you send him to the side lane, you pair that up with a Nocturne who can back you up and look for those 2v1 kills, that's something that Supermassive is going to have to be kind of worried about later. We also have to track the laning phase here for Fabulous, because while he has done fairly well and fairly even in the tank versus tank matchups, if you think back to game 1, it was PK actually getting an early solo kill in the Ornn versus Scion matchup up there in the top lane. So you want to see those mistakes avoided from Fabulous, allow the Olaf to dictate the early stages of the game, where he should have, you know, that power over the Nocturne, and really need to have a better 2v2 performance from this Lucian this game as well. Last game, they were dying in the 2v2. They were getting ganked, getting picked on. You want to see Zeitnot getting ahead of his opponent, who is playing more of this kind of scaling marksman.
This is the game Supermassive needs to show up. Coming in from the blue side, they wanted that first pick. They wanted that Rakan as it was locked in for Snowflower's initiation. It's what has been able to set GRX off their footing. Will it be able to happen this game? Are we going to a game 5, or will GRX find themselves going to the main stage with their first Worlds appearance ever and a final game win right here in game 4? Supermassive really has their work cut out for him to keep this series alive as we head on to the Rift.
Yeah, both teams looking for that Worlds group's berth, trying to get through that play-in stage. So many teams have fallen short already. These are the last 2 teams remaining, the last 2 teams fighting for that final spot in the group stage of Worlds 2018.
Crazy to think this weekend has already seen 3 teams depart from the world stage, with 3 moving on, and who will be our 4th now to enter into those main stage groups? GRX or Supermassive? We'll find out here if it's in this game GRX, or as I said, Supermassive can punch back to keep it going. To mid lane, Candy on Rise, GBM on the Orianna, Fabulous and that Scion top once again versus PK's Ornn. Stone Mage and Empty, respectively, on Olaf and Nocturne here. We'll have to see if they can get in each other's face to start things off.
Yeah, you can already see a little bit of a change here from Zeitnot. Not sure if it is because of the issues that they had in the 2v2 last game, but he swapped from TP to heal. Last game, they were down that heal, and it really ended up making the difference in that 2v2 all-in. Obviously, it's not the same champion, so it may just be something where he feels more comfortable playing heal into the Xayah, but either way, is worth noting. It is that Combat Summoner, and both the top laners are playing Grasp. No spellbook there for PK.
And not as easy for Xayah, but you can still get that effective push lane, feathers to the back, pull him back, get those caster minions cleared with Tormented Soil as well. And we should see Snowflower and Zeitnot pushed into the turret just early because of that pressure.
Yeah, it's definitely the case, and that's something that you have to be kind of careful about on the side of Supermassive, as W first from Lucian is not something you see every day. Maybe just really wanted to scout out that brush, but
it is interesting, because then you think, do you want your Piercing Light to farm, or do you want your Relentless Pursuit to get out of the way of a Dark Binding?
I mean, you're not fighting now.
No, you are not at all.
At the very least, you're not fighting till level 3, so not really a fan of the choice. I mean, maybe felt like he needed it because they didn't have vision on the bottom side, so needed to try to scout out to make sure they weren't getting cheesed or anything like that, which I could respect, saying, okay, if that happens, we just lose the series and we're out of Worlds. True. So you take a little bit of hit there, but oftentimes you're not seeing W until level 4, right? People go Q or E first, and then 2 points in Q, and then W at level 4. So they are going to be pushed pretty far back in that regard.
There's level 2. They have quite a few minions to clear before that comes up for them, and it will be under the turret. So some will be missed, but experience gained, so no worries on the levels, as mirrored side scuttle grab from the junglers as they're just off the edge. Little, if they only knew. They probably do. It's not like they can fight each other anyways. So off and running from those grabs. Wow. I like this a lot. They're just mirroring each other. This is perfect. Damage onto GBM, and that is going to taunt the junglers into the fight. Candy says, no, I am low on mana, and this is not ours to win.
Yeah, they do back off, and you know, Empty was actually level 2 walking into that. He did level up off some of those creeps, but Stomage being level 3 and the Olaf just having a lot more early game dueling power is something that he wanted to be careful about. But now, looking to see if he can get in there for a smite. I don't think Empty will commit to this.
This was much different in our earlier games where we actually saw them being able to push in from the side of GBM. But GBM not having too much control there as Candy was able to push him around. Controlling the lane, but not for the fight. Interesting effect there. As you still see Empty harassing Stomage in the jungle. He's going to stay for a while. They have all this pressure on the bot lane, so Zeitnot and Snowflower aren't coming up to help.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying there for the Olaf, but it does look like he eventually is going to get it, and he's fairly ahead on farm. You know, he did actually take an extra camp before he went down to the scuttle, which is why he had a level advantage, and does end up securing that for himself. So, yep, Empty was pretty annoying, but he does end up just kind of falling a little bit behind as far as the pacing in that jungle.
That Ardent Blaze damage really deterring Stitch. Not so much. Stitch is just taking it all. Happy to be up front. 27 to 25, so not too much CS miss. Great job by Snowflower to prep first caster minions early in the game without enough AD. As GBM and Candy farm it out 29 to 19. So even though GBM's been pushing Candy back a bit here, he's doing more fighting than farming.
Yeah, you can see all those pings on a Stomage, so he was spotted as he went over to threaten Candy there. And the roam down from Fabulous gets them another ward in the jungle, so they really want to track Empty, and they look for a fight here.
Black Shield on. Quick hits in the battle dance back from Snowflower as they deal nice damage, advantage in health, bot lane to Supermassive.
Yeah, Stitch took quite a bit of damage there, and Ignite is available, so there is always kill potential if you can catch him, but Stitch still did have his health potion available, so probably can't go for an all-in just yet without kind of working him down a little bit more.
Koala feels much better about the Black Shield on this one. At times better with Grand Entrance. He doesn't have to worry about an Alistar coming in every time he tries to save Stitch. But low on mana, they definitely have to be careful on the side of GRX so they don't get initiated on. PK face check into the brush, but it's going to just be a back and forth between these two tanks in the early part of the game. PK's already stayed in lane to get a few of those passive builds off of his Ornn Mallet. And he's just farming up at that nice, what I call a 75% mark of your lane. You're not taking too much pressure, but you're not under the turret. Easy CS in there as he's falling behind a little bit, so that's good for him.
Yeah, and it's also basically the safest place you can actually play as a top laner.
Always.
Because if you can hold it outside of your turret, then the wave won't reset and push your opponent. So you really do like to hold it there if you don't have your jungler play on your side of the map. And for a lot of the earlier stages, Empty was on the bottom side, so it's a smart play from the Ornn of PK. And he just really wants to kind of make it through this early game. It's going to be about the engages for him. It's not going to be about this laning phase.
Candy waits in mid, thinking they might actually see jungle head back towards the bottom side. But they should have Raptors figured out on timing. So nothing coming from Candy there. He did ping in. Looks like they're just trying to set up maybe something for down the road if they can find Stomage back on his bottom side of the jungle. He's heading towards top though, and Candy's got to be careful. As GBM has been quite the focus this series for Stomage when he's able to get in with aggression. Predator on and Predator out.
Yeah, that one was a bit ambitious. I don't think anything much was going to really happen there. It's worth a try, I guess, but they're actually going to try to go for the fight here.
Realm Warp will put him in front of GBM, but that could be a Shockwave ultimate to keep Candy in place. Damage down to Stomage. Dragon's going to come up as he is angry about the fight and is dead. And here's the Ornn Horn. Blast code over. Oh, what a shot by PK! Eagle Eye Ornn Horn coming through. And Zeitnot tries to deter Koala and Stitch from any more fight.
PK bowls the strike, getting first blood there on the Stomage. That was a nice teleport. You see that coming in, and you're kind of thinking, well, is he really going to be able to do much? And that was a thing of beauty.
Wow. PK been pushed back to his turret all game, says, oh, look, I could get something off of this. And he very much does. He'll be happy to walk back to lane on this. Turret's already pushed up, so the wave's going to come back to him in the end. That is such a great play for the side of GRX.
Yeah, that was honestly fantastic for them. And again, GRX able to get things going in that early game. Despite the fact that Stomage should have the priority in these kind of early levels against Nocturne, Rise made the faster roam, and the TP came down from his top laner, so Stomage has no opportunity to really turn and fight.
Oops. Nobody saw that minion miss. 66 to 49, so GBM can't afford to do that too much. He definitely needs to start picking up the gold so he can hit those item clips along with the rest of the team. We did see him kind of have an even lane and come up big with 2 kills in a fight. And that kind of seems to be the way that Supermassive has been hitting par in the early game. Good in lanes, don't lose to PK and Candy, which is kind of the expectation of coming into this series. And then a wham, bam, thank you, man, when it gets the time to fight. Zeitnot, GBM come up big. We'll see this river fight one more time for your Acer Predator replay.
Yeah, here is the play again. Stomage flashing over the wall, sees the blast cone, does get tagged with the initial hit, and PK just knows he's going right into the pit. Bowls a strike, gets the first blood, they're loving it.
Awesome to see Toys there as well. World champion himself, Toys from the Taipei Assassins, there to help coach Team GRX now. And it's got to be a lot of wisdom he's able to bring to the team.
Good bit of experience to have on the squad for sure. A lot of these World Championships really does come down to the mental fortitude that it requires actually playing at this stage. You're so far outside of your comfort zone. You're playing against better players, you're playing with a bigger audience, and it really does become very difficult if you don't have a lot of mental fortitude. And people that have experienced that, people that have been through that, like Toys, can help to prepare the players for what they are going to have to deal with on these big stages.
And sometimes it's just hearing it. You know, being nervous is okay right now.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that's all you need to hear, and it can settle a few of the nerves that you need to make the plays. I can't imagine being at a different setup, different place to cheer of the crowd around you and still having to perform. These guys do it as much as they can, and they've been forced to do it for the past few weeks. Coming up on 10 minutes now, 500 gold lead, small for GRX, but big plays around the map are gonna make them feel good as they get PK going. It's been a very big thing for them. Again, harassing Stomage at those Raptors, and again, they take them away.
Yep, and while it is not that big of a gold lead, Empty is now 6 on the Nocturne. Olaf hasn't been able to get anything done, really, whatsoever here for the side of Supermassive, so GRX is going to be feeling good, and they could actually look for a fight here if they want to.
Ragnarok still there. Stomage knows he can hold it. Not too much damage coming through just yet from the mid lane. His tier being stacked up by Candy still. Not a lot of item spikes to be had, even with all the bits of aggression on the map. Not too many people are falling. Quick cleanup in the clear here. 103 to 86 on that bot line as Zeitnot has picked it up.
Yeah, they really have. They're playing this 2v2 a lot better this time around. You know, getting themselves a CS advantage down there and working quickly towards that Blade of the Rune King. They do have level 6 on Recon now, so if the Black Shield is ever wasted, there is the opportunity to look for those aggressive all-ins.
No ward over the pit just yet. It looks like that will easily go down. A little bit of movement speed for the side of GRX, and this team, they would love to have that Realm Warps to follow with the Nocturne ultimate, bringing a lot of people to the fight. They could get everywhere and have a very omnipresent global team that can be around the map.
And it's so fun to see really good players using the Realm Warp, because there's so many different creative ways you can use it. Obviously, you know, to use the escapes and for the Rise to chase someone down, but you can also do things like sending the Nocturne and the Ornn into the back line, using that as another way to engage, and all of a sudden the Ornn is coming in from behind you while the rest of the team is charging in front, and it can be very, very disruptive. Just one of those things that it's like, it's really high risk, high reward, right?
Just thinking how silly it would be to have a Nocturne ult, and then you see him come in through Realm Warp.
And then he just does the 1-foot ult where he just kind of dives forward.
I'm here. Here I am. It's those things that you just don't think about, so it works.
They'll never expect it.
12 minutes coming up on the clock. And we have yet to see that Nocturne Paranoia actually cry out across the rift and put Supermassive into fear. Bot lane's pushed up pretty good as Empty's actually coming back out of base, so we may get a little bit more of that fight. Cinderhulk fighter fixed up for Stomaged, as he's now got his warrior enchant fixed up for Empty's Nocturne.
Well, this could be a 4-man bottom side play. They're actually going for 5-man bot,
Holy
but Nocturne and
moly.
Rise are already here.
The reel between the turret teleports coming in from Fabulous. He starts on the enemy side of the map, and it looks like they're gonna have to maybe back out of this one. Fabulous throws down the ultimate as he starts getting out of this. They want to turn away, but it doesn't look like GRX can actually lock down any of the kills anyways. Mistake fixed for now, but Supermassive losing a lot of pressure to PK on the top side, who has the chance to push or teleport.
Yeah, GRX was just totally ready for that, and the Nocturne ultimate being dropped dissuades a lot of it.
Culling
is getting low.
Culling coming out. That could be another reason for GRX to fight. Stitch uses the heal. Sight now forward a little bit, also uses his heal to get away, and here comes the Oran Horn through one member. They get Sight not even on the flash. Dustbringer doesn't make it, but Candy does. And he picks up his first kill of the game. GRX now 3-0.
Yeah, they get 2 kills off that. The delayed TP coming through from PK. Supermassive forcing that play way too hard. Stayed around after the initial play failed and trying to get more, trying to make something out of nothing, but not being able to make it work.
Fast activation here after GRX saw that, hey, this is taking Supermassive a little bit longer than they would like. And that's what we are talking about. It's the small errors that GRX is finding, be that all bigger than a small one, teleporting that far behind this early. But GRX can act on it. Like you said, they were completely ready and to turn the tables immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, they stay around for a really long time. This binding there over on a Snowflower, he just gets CC chained down, taken out, and then the TP has come in from PK. Your support's already gone. That was a perfectly placed Oran ultimate because it covered. If he walks back into the team, he's gone. If he flashes forward, he can't create enough distance to get over it. So PK on these teleports has been 2 for 2 on the ultimates and really having an impact.
Knows how to use his forehead. Knocking those through. Big noggin PK on this Ornn.
Accurate noggin.
Accurate noggin indeed. Ooh, they try to throw down Paranoia, and it will be successful in taking down Zeitnot. They won't be able to get Snowflower, though. Stonemage coming around from the side, almost grabbed Koala in a solo warding situation. But here comes GBM, slowly up the river. This could file into something that Supermassive wants to continue, as they don't have Candy rotating just yet. Got to remember the Realm Warp, this global team, semi-global, that GRX has.
It really is feeling like Supermassive is just trying way too hard to force something. It's almost like they think they are just losing the game much more heavily than they are. Yeah. They really were not very behind before that bottom lane play. And then again, here on the top side, Zeitnot is like dashing towards the turret, under the turret, trying to 2v2 them without knowledge of where the Nocturne is.
But he had heal up, so...
He did have heal up.
Yeah, they're going so hard for these plays. You're right.
It just feels like that feels a bit desperate. You know, it feels like they are thinking to themselves, we need to make something happen now. And I don't believe that is really the case. The game is certainly far from over. Orianna has incredibly good scaling. You have double tanks on the top side. You have an explosive engagement from your Rakan. Yes, Xayah probably is going to outscale the Lucian, but I don't know. I feel like you could just play a calm game still from here on out and have a good shot to win.
Absolutely. Don't have to worry about PK too much in the bot side. He's kind of facilitating everything for himself. Kills, a solo kill on Fabulous in that first game. And now back onto the Ornn again. Feels like he can just run the map when he has this champion, and we're seeing it here in game 4 on that Ornn for PK. Koala a little too close for comfort. The culling almost killing him, but it's going to be the ignite from Snowflower to come through his Stitch, trying to be that body blocker. Rift Herald picked up by Supermassive, and they're gonna have a little bit control on the map after feeling like they've been behind.
Yeah, it's nicely done for them. They get the Rift Herald, they get a kill. Really, they're not very behind. They're down 2K, which you know is a significant lead. But if you can pick up a turret with the Rift Herald, you cut that in half. You certainly still are going to have your opportunities. And this is just feeling like the pressure getting to them. Ever since that game 2, they have felt a little bit more fast and loose. They have felt like they are trying to force things where the plays aren't necessarily presenting themselves. And want to see them play a little bit more patient, a little bit more reserved. Wait until those opportunities come to you. Wait until you have vision on the rest of the members, so you know that the play is going to work.
Decent warding by Supermassive has found its way into the top side of GRX's jungle. And GRX has only been able to place one forward ward. A lot of what Snowflower wants to do on this Rakan relies and is based on those wards, having vision of one or two members. Koala almost, or I should say, did go down as a result of that just last time. And that's the first kill that Supermassive was able to get, that one onto Snowflower. Still looking for a few more as they have swapped lanes now and put the marksman top.
Now looking to continue this 2v2 up here. They're still pretty far ahead, you know, as far as the farm goes at least for the solution. Both on one item. Empty does have his ultimate back up here as the observers are showing us, trying to clear out these pockets of vision so he knows where he can ultimate from. Supermassive should be aware that he's up here though, and really kind of play with that respect to Nocturne. You can't afford to take these fights. As you said, it's not just the Realm Warp, it's also the Nocturne ults coming in. It's PK and his teleports, which have been so impactful.
It's scary. Nocturne ultimate already onto GBM in the mid lane. They are able to take him down immediately. He doesn't go anywhere. Empty's actually very low. Black shield on. Here comes Fat Fabulous from the bot lane. Absolutely decimates him as the Horn comes through. Shield your eyes from the ornographic material. Stowmage is going to be going down. Fat Fabulous may be next as they try to turn the fight. And Zeitnot is just a little too late for the party.
Yeah, the re-engage there was so good from Supermassive, but Zeitnot was not in position. They didn't have the damage to follow up because GBM went down without getting his shockwave off. Lucian's not there. That's all of your damage, really, and GRX will take another win. 3 kills for just the one. They'll get the mid lane turret. They'll take the dragon, and they are looking really good in essentially this final game.
They find any fight and say, oh, this is ours. Crazy. 2 turrets deep. We have it, even without having placed vision up here anytime recently. Everything's been on their side. They're in for the fight.
Yeah, and it looks like the stopwatch just barely missed time. I believe he actually got stunned by the Morgana ultimate coming out of the stopwatch. So he couldn't actually get, you know, his shockwave off. And unfortunately for him, it's a really tough timing because the Nocturne Fear was also there, so you have to kind of work in between those. And this was a great re-engage. If Lucian was there at the same time, I think they can win that fight. Unfortunately, he was nowhere to be seen, but they do now drop the Rift Herald. They get 1 turret. They're trying to push up and look to threaten a second. We'll see if they go too far.
EK is trying to stay on the front line. Searing charge backwards means he loses a bit of that ground movement that he could get back into the fight with. Candy just on the end. Horn is about to come off a cooldown. PK can use it. Fires up the Horn and he slams down the mallet. In goes Empty and he tries to get the kill, but he could fall. Empty stays alive. They've got Stowmates on the run now as Zeitnot and Fat Fabulous try to run down mid lane. GBM's already been wiped out of the fight. There's the grab onto Stowmates. Oh, he puts himself back into the frying pan. And he's cooked up with the rest of the team. Yeah,
Stowmage goes down, so does GBM. Another great engage here from GRX. They're pinging over towards Baron. Not sure if they're gonna want to start it up. It is very early in the game to do so, but if you get the Baron now, the game could very well just be yours, and they're gonna make the call to go for it. Stowmage still down. Empty is running out on the map. Doesn't have Smite just yet, but it's looking like Supermassive may be too late to challenge.
Fat Fabulous is gonna try his hardest to get in here. Dark Binding is nice, but Snowflower still wants to crowd control the team. He has his quickness. He can get in and charm them up and at least deter the fight. Zeitnot trying to put damage onto PK. Gets hit by the Dark Binding. Koala is hitting true, but he's out of mana now. He can't offer too much.
In there.
Well, 1,700 on the Baron. Fat Fabulous is low. That's going to be a smite for Empty, and they do grab Baron.
The Rise ult!
Koala's left out to dry, but that's all right for GRX.
So well done there by GRX, buying so much time, escaping with that Realm Warp. I mean, that was like a 20-minute, 30-second Baron start. They do it in the face of Supermassive, and
it took a while.
Supermassive, a little too hesitant to actually commit to the fight. I don't know if you can actually afford to give up that much this early. Zeitnot was very nervous to enter the fight. Clearly didn't want to actually get CC'd up and knocked down, but there are a lot of low health bar here, and maybe he could have actually committed forward. And here's the engage one more time. The root, Nocturne goes in onto Lucian. Zeitnot barely able to get away as Empty does get taken out here. I do believe, no, I think he did escape just barely.
Yep.
And Stowmage did get chased down, and this is what prompted the start of the Baron. Not sure if we're actually gonna get to see that as just accepts his death as he's bound up, would have gone down. And here is Baron one more time. So this is kind of the point I'm talking about. With binding on cooldown, I feel like Zeitnot just needs to go for something. You need to try to get in and actually commit to the play, see if you can make something happen, but they wait a long time. That actually went to 40 health after the smite. That could have been a fabulous auto attack steal.
Oh, would it have been fabulous too, Azale? Oh, it would have been.
I really can't help but wish Zeitnot got in there a little bit more aggressively to try to force that, but it was very well done by GRX. They make the risky call, they get out.
And that catapults them.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6K ahead with the potential to pick up a few thousand more gold very easily with this Baron power play.
Deep breaths from Supermassive as they try to look for a window, a possible opening to split the composition of GRX and find themselves on the other side of the rift. Right now, it's been a very one-sided game with only 2 turrets in favor of Supermassive as GRX has now taken out the outer ring, looking at only second tiers. And we're 23 minutes into the game with Baron. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in a power play for GRX. Look at him sitting in the jungle waiting to get these picks.
Exactly. MT is kind of sitting in the spot where he can respond with an ultimate both to mid lane and top lane. And this is the setup I talked about a lot earlier where Ryze goes to a side lane, he pushes out. There's no one that can really 1v1 match the Ryze. And if you try to go for a 2v1, well, Nocturne ults in and stops that. And if you try to posture too aggressively, well, they 2v1 dive you. So that is very tough for Supermassive to properly respond to, and it really does take a hard engage somewhere else to really decisively win a fight, or to do that on the Ryze. And either way, it's probably going to take Snowflower finding a perfect engage for them to get a kill and then respond to the other side of the map.
Very quick around the horn, only leaving mid, second tier up. And that's already at half health. Baron minions are coming in. This is a hell of a Baron power play. Oh my God, Fabulous could go down. Use a stopwatch. It's going to be a wanted in from Snowflower. And here comes Empty for the paranoia. Ornhorn going all the way through the fight as PK cannot get it back in for the knockup, but it's not going to deter them from going under the turret. They do get sight knocked down immediately. Fabulous doing what he can to stop the rest of the fight, but the turret is in the eyes of GRX now as PK goes forward with a double searing charge knockup on a GBM and Snowflower. Snowflower with the ability to go back in now on his grand entrance and battle dance out, but they have to be wary of what they take. Candy's been on the top side, clearing inhibitors by himself.
Yeah, Candy takes down that turret. It was such a nice flash binding there from Koala. Point blank, lands it onto Zeitnot. And when Zeitnot goes down, no hope of Supermassive holding that tower any longer. They're losing so much gold on this Baron power play. Now up to 11,000 gold advantage with 2 exposed inhibitors. These guys are gonna face, they're gonna buy up their items, and Stitch is just at such a ridiculously strong point in the game.
We'll see this again.
Yeah, so here it is one more time, the initial play over onto Fabulous. The stopwatch was well used there to buy some time, but a really nice Saya ultimate, buying him space. And yes, he does get charmed up after the ultimate expires, but he's already created enough space and there's no follow-up to come through to actually get over onto him. Then watch this flash here from Koala, point blank, around the minion, right onto the Lucian. That was a thing of beauty from the Morgana support. That nets them another inhibitor turret, buying time for Candy up on the top side as well, and GRX are 1 fight away from getting through play-ins, for making it to groups.
Some would say raise your koalas.
Raise your koalas.
After a play like that, in a different way. But Koala coming up big for his team. And you got to think, look at the participation scores across the board for GRX. Everybody's had their hand in the pie. Everyone's participating, and Zeitnot is getting a little hyphy as they want to solidify some kills. They say GRX has taken too much. Airborne knocked up, knocked down is Koala as he gets a taste of his own medicine. Candy and PK from the other side now. Empty puts himself in the frying pan. No, he's going to go down to the GA. Zeitnot's on the right side of the fight. Eyes onto him as he tries to deliver in the Lucian damage. A great kill onto Empty coming in from GBM, and Stitch is looking for his targets. Not even afraid of a 2v1. Fabulous falls into Scion death form, and Stitch able to push the rest of the members of Supermassive out. Down goes Snowflower.
And this could do it. We'll see. They're actually not even going to try to push the base.
They won't. Nope.
They're just taking an inhibitor, and wow, I'm actually really surprised they're not even going to try to go straight for those inhibitors. At the very least, they will take the Infernal. They're trying to play it calm and collected, and right before that fight, Stitch bought an entire IE. He had that much gold in his bags.
I didn't know we had coupons in League of Legends.
He is
How does that work?
ridiculously strong. So here it is one more
Let's
time.
see this.
Ornn down on the bottom side, Rise up on the top side. They need to force an engage. So in goes Zeitnot onto Empty. Another nice binding from Koala to buy time. Great stopwatch there to actually buy some more. And then Stitch trying to fight this out. 1v4 situation here, pulling the feathers back through, gets a lot of members low, and as Candy and PK arrive, in goes Empty, trying to buy time for the rest of the team. And the shockwave does come out here from GBM, catches two, finishing off Empty, but Stitch is just running through them.
Stitch just barrels through, and you can see how scared Zeitnot is at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, Stitch is ridiculously strong right out of that fight.
Oh my god!
He upgrades the IE with the Ornn upgrade there, so the Infernal Infinity Edge
Just
is completed.
under triple the damage of Zeitnot.
Yeah, I mean, he's ridiculous. And if you chase him into a corridor like that, the feathers getting pulled through are just devastating. So Stitch certainly putting on a hell of a performance here. Thousands of gold ahead of his opponent. One team fight away from ending this. They have control around Baron. They want to play it safe. They want to play it smart. So they're going to look to try to get a pick and then go to Baron. Look at Snowflower on this side. You can see he was hoping that
where my eyes are.
would kind of push up, and he could try to find that engage, because really, to win a fight from 12,000 gold down, it needs to be an incredible engage.
Do you feel like this is necessary, Azael?
I don't know. They feel like they can turn, I think, for the fight, and I think they're not going to commit fully to the Baron. PK's tanking it up, so they're trying to bring Supermassive over to them, and they may just run up to the top lane and push that down.
Who's going to make it to base first? Who's faster? Supermassive might want to get on the defensive side of this play. GRX is able to route them now down the left side. Base gate's going to be opened up by Fabulous, so they have a bit more of an entrance in. Zeitnot's already there to defend. And it's just going to be a slow defense. GRX is now going to play the yo-yo game until they get Supermassive where they want them.
It's minions in the bottom lane, though, that Fabulous has to respond to. So a beautiful Realm Orb right over to Baron.
Teleports there. There's wards all over for Fabulous to get in. Eyes on Stomage for the back line. Where's Snowflower going to go to the back line with his quickness? Horn goes out but doesn't do too much damage. Koala is taking a hell of a lot of damage to start. PK is not in a good spot. And so far, so good for Supermassive to find the fight that could become in the next few seconds. Fabulous is going to be the first one here to get some base checked in. They don't have a lot of vision to do this, so it's a very haphazard walk-in for this initiation for Zeitnot. He is in the face of Candy, almost two-shot by the machine gun mage. Candy gets out alive. Quickness is used. Huge battle dance and entrance there as GRX can now re-look at the fight. Big damage from Stitch. Zanya's onto Stomage as he is forced to use a bit of that utility. It looks disgusting, Azael. A clinic here from GRX if they can win the fight, but it is going to be Candy shut down first. Fabulous trying to deny PK, trying to deny Stitch. Koala 200 HP from going down, and it looks like Supermassive has turned the tide of the fight. PK is going to go down, and GRX is looking sore on this one.
Supermassive against the odds that kite out the fight. Such good positioning, such strong presence of mind there to play that calm through those tense moments, and they get 2 kills. They're the ones going for the Baron here. Empty is alive with Flash. He could look to steal it. Stitch is here as well, and he is ridiculously strong.
An amazing series of absorbing whatever GRX could throw at them. And now, 30 minutes in, Supermassive start the Baron for themselves with GRX and 3 members on the side. Featherstorm dodging out on the dissonance move coming in from GBM, denies quite a bit of the damage, and Empty will follow the team back to their base.
The minions are going to get the inhibitor in the bottom lane. Huge wave up in the top lane here as well. GRX do stave them off, but oh my god, this game is close. You would not believe that that was from a 12,000 gold deficit.
Absolutely. It's not even that GRX is giving the respect. It's that GRX taunted Baron and then actually didn't know how to deal with Supermassive.
And Supermassive is just taking the respect. They're saying you must respect our team fighting ability. You must respect our chance in this game. They are finding windows where they can look for picks. Snowflower going over onto Candy, pushing him out of the fight. The whole team grouping back up, but it's GRX once again on the Baron, and this is dying so fast.
Supermassive, if Snowflower is there, it's a possibility. The quickness charms everyone up. Right now, it is literally the best tool they have to stop all damage towards Baron, to get Supermassive into the fight. And if Snowflower can get in, there's a very good chance each time.
But it's so hard now for Supermassive. No teleport available. The bot lane is going to be pushing in with super minions. Good calling out of the Koala, though.
Down to half HP.
Does get him low, so Supermassive have to make a play now. You either go bottom, answer that wave, GRX will start Baron, or you try to force Baron on 5v5 immediately, and that's so hard to do from this monumental gold deficit. So they're going to send people down to bottom lane to try to push that out.
And we're getting...
That means GRX will go right back to Baron.
It's getting close to the impossible Elder Drake as well. If that's a fourth Infernal in favor of GRX, that's a forced fight for Supermassive as it comes up.
Yeah, definitely could be, but at this point, when you're that far down, maybe you just give it. You're living on a hope and a prayer at this point anyway. You need to have a fight that you have vision around, that you know what is coming, and they at least know that GRX has not started the Baron yet. You can see Rise is getting sent down to the bottom side of the map. He may be tasked with pushing this wave in and actually pressuring some of those turrets, some of that base down to the bottom side, because he has his teleport available and Fabulous does not.
The ward wars are in. And the way a ward war usually works is you place yours, muddle about, and lose that area. There's a lot more words in the inventory of GRX, so that they go up for a long time fight right now, that vision can be won by GRX. The small things definitely coming into play this late in the game, as I'm looking at summoner spells up as well. A few flashes and heals on each side about to come up, and probably before that next fight.
Yeah, you always have to keep track of the vision, keep track of those summoner spells. They mean so much going into these late game fights where one mistake could decide this entire series, send a team home from Worlds. And Empty is onto the Infernal, but Supermassive doesn't have the ability to challenge this. They don't have vision in the area. They don't have, you know, the knowledge of where everyone is. And if you step forward, have one bad fight, the game ends just like that. So they need to pick their moment, and they're going to try to look for a fight where they at least have vision, where they at least know what's going on. But it's GRX onto the Baron once.
Whoa, they started with 3. They actually have Candy on the bot side to teleport in on this one, and he can't get Fabulous can't get there. Teleports down for him. Ornhorn comes out. They got 2 into the choke point on the bot side of jungle. But here comes the rest of Supermassive on the backside. A nice hit up by PK in the searing charge. And a very much resurrecting Zeitnot, trying to stay alive as he gets himself back up. Relentless pursuit to safety as PK will now take down Snowflower, and this could be it, Azale. A fight on 2 fronts.
They're TPing in the base.
Could not handle. That's going to be Stomage going down. GRX looking great inside the base of Supermassive. Unstoppable as he gets into the base. Fabulous stays alive as he can give one last ounce of breath with Zeitnot to defend the Nexus. GRX looking to move on to the main stage. 18-8 in one of the bloodiest series we've had as teams try to make it. Fabulous low, but it is GRX, Stitch, Koala, and PK to put the finishing touches on the game. They know they've got it. They're padding the stats. GRX has to feel fantastic in their first ever appearance at Worlds. They're going to be making it to the main stage. Supermassive doing everything they can to stop them, but it'll never be enough. GRX is moving on.
And what a series from the LMS third seed, 3-1, battling back in multiple games, getting stronger and stronger throughout the showing, throughout the day. They really did earn it here, and Stitch has put on such an incredible performance throughout the group stage, throughout the knockout stage here today against Zeitnot and Snowflower.
And what a lane that was to watch. I cannot wait for what the rest of Worlds has for us. Hot damn!
We're just getting started, Riv.
Game so far. What a series. Supermassive almost pushing it to 5. But the team on your screen, GRX, will be making it to the main stage here at Worlds, one step closer to the Summoners Cup.
Yeah, and now it's up to decide which group they will be entering into and how far they can go, as you say. This is just the beginning of their journey, and a bright future for a lot of these young players here coming onto the stage, performing very well. LMS third seed did not make it into the group stage at Worlds last year round. They got knocked out in the play-in this time. GRX makes no mistake about that. 7-1 throughout the play-in event, including the knockout stage. A very good performance from them, but honestly, this series felt a